Hello all, greetings of the day. So in the previous lecture we have seen how to find out time complexity using frequency count method. So in today's session we will see the analysis of different programming constructs. So according to the running time of the algorithms, we are having a different programming constructs. For example, if some algorithm take a constant time for the execution, then we can call that as a constant, what you can say a constant time complexity. Whenever algorithm is taking a time equal to the logarithmic of the input value, then we are considering it as a under logarithmic. If the input value and the number of step executed is directly proportional, then it comes under the linear. If the number of steps executed and the input size is having a what you can say the n squares this kind of relation, we will talk in details when we will go to the actual slide. Then it comes under the quadratic. Whenever it is of the form n cube, whenever the time requirement is the cube, whenever the time requirement is the cubic size of the input, then we are calling it as a cubic, and the last one is 2 raised to n, that is the exponential. Okay, so as a part of the syllabus, we will discuss about the three programming constructs, that is logarithmic, linear and the quadratic. And based on this discussion, you can accordingly you can understand the remaining one, that is the cubic, exponential or the other forms of the programming constructs. So let's start with the first one. So the linear. So very first thing, linear, whenever we see there is a definition. What is the definition of linear? Linear means what? It is linearly increasing. For example, initially 0, then 1, then 2. So linear increment is there linearly. Okay, so distance is exactly fixed. We have already seen in the linear data structure also. Why we are calling it as a linear data structure? Because elements are one after another, right? So here when we are talking about the linear programming construct, so what is the relation? So basically the number of steps executed and the input size is directly proportional. It means if my number of steps executed are n, if my input size is n, then the number of steps executed will be n. If my input size double, it means my if input size is n 2n, then accordingly number of steps executed will also be 2n. So this is what is the direct proportionality between the input size and the number of steps executed. So let me explain you with the help of the example. So now to explain you the linear time complexity. For example, what the statement first statement indicates, if my input size is n, the number of steps executed will be n. If my input size double, it means if my input size is double, it means if it is 2n, then the number of steps executed will also be a 2n. Okay, so that is a direct proportionality. So what is meaning of that? For example, if my input size is 16, the number of steps executed will be 16. And if my input size double, it means if it is 32, the number of step executed will also be 32. Okay, so basically what is the simplest way to identify whenever I have a single for loop and where the values are increasing in the linear fashion, firstly 1, then 2, then 3, then 4 until last value, that is the n. N may vary according to the input size. So when I have this kind of for loop where I varies from 1 to that n, then and inside that I have to perform particular action. So when I have this single for loop, then we can consider that is coming under the part of the linear time complexity. Then to explain you the examples of this linear time complexity, so we have enlisted the few examples of the linear time complexity. So the very first one is to search the element in a given list. Okay, so remember, how can we write down the code for searching the element in a given list? For example, I have some elements inside the list A. For example, A is the array which contains the element. For example, first is 1, then 2, then 3, maybe 6, then 8, maybe 10, or maybe then 9. So random order we are having the elements, right? So consider, for example, linearly we are searching the data. So linearly it means firstly 0th position, first position, second position. It means how the I value will change. I value will change from 0 to n minus 1, right? It is incrementally changing the values of I. And what is inside? So inside we are writing the code. So what is action? If the A of I value matches with key value, key means what? The element we want to search. Then what we have to do? Then we have to print the statement. What statements we have to print? That element is found. So we can print the statement that, or we can, this is pseudocode, so don't put attention towards the syntax. We have to just write down the flow. Element found, and we have to break. It means we have to come out of this loop. Now remember, whenever we are doing this analysis, we have to consider the worst scenario. You might be thinking, okay ma'am, here what will happen if element is present at the first position, then this loop may execute only one number of time. Yeah, that is true, but whenever we are doing the this analysis of the programming concept, we are always considering the worst scenario, or even though in the case of finding out the time complexity using the step count method, we are considering the worst scenario. It means maximum how many times this condition will be true, or how many times the this for loop will execute. So consider, so what is the worst situation if element is situated at the last position. So how many times this for loop will execute? Initially for value of I is equal to 0, then for I is equal to 1, then 2, then 3. For example, consider my I value is 16. So how many times this loop will execute? From the value 0 to value 15. So consider value 0 to 15. How many times it is executed? It will be executed 16 number of times. So always this loop will execute n number of times. What is n? N is the size of this array, or we can say n is the number of elements. So this is what is the first example. Then that is why the time complexity is linear, and linear means in this case what will be the time complexity? It will be big O of n, so maximum number of comparisons. So time complexity here means maximum number of comparisons. So n number of times we are doing the comparison. Now next case is to find out sum of the elements in the list. Now we can slightly modify the same thing. For example, I want to find out sum of the elements inside this list. So what I will do initially? Initially I will think my sum is equal to 0. And every time what I'll do, I'll add my sum to the every element one by one, right? So every time I'll update the value of sum. So sum is equal to sum plus, so I have to take the same variable name, sum plus a of I. So what will happen? How many times this loop will execute? From the index position 0 to index position n minus 1, which contain total n number of elements. So automatically this for loop will execute n number of times. So now we can say that for this kind of linear time complexity or linear programming concept, we are having this form, that function of n means what? Time required to search the element, or time required to find out the sum of elements when my input size is n is big O of n. So basically this is what is the linear programming construct. Okay, so now we'll go to the next part, that is the quadratic, right? Now what is indicated here? Now the relationship between the input size and the number of steps executed is of the quadratic form. It means if my input size is n, then number of steps executed will be double or square of that input size. Okay, and if input size double, the number of steps executed quadruples. So let me help you to understand with the help of the example. Now what is the relationship? If input size is n, the number of steps executed is square of that. It means it will be n square. Okay, if input size double, then what is number of steps executed? 2n into 2n. So what is the value of this 2n into 2n? So what is this value 2n into 2n? So the 2n into 2n means the value will be 4n square. Okay, now if we'll see the relation, if my input size doubles, then my number of steps executed quadruples. Quadruple means 4, right? So n square into 4 is 4n square. Okay, so let me give you example. If my input size is 16, number of steps executed will be 16 into 16 is 256. If my input size double, it means instead of 16, if I do 32, so what will happen? The number of steps executed will be quadruple. It means 256 into 4 will be 1024, or in other way we can say 32 square is equal to 1024. Okay, so this is what is the example of this, or this is what is the relation between the input size and number of steps executed in terms of the quadratic programming constructs. Okay, that is what is the explanation of the first two statements, right? Next one, what are the examples of this quadratic time complexity? So very first thing, let me clear you. Whenever we have a nested for loop, then in case of nested for loop, if my values is also changing in the incremental, in the same order, okay, in incremental order, initially I is equal to 0 to n minus 1, or we can say I is equal to 1 to n, and inner for loop is for j is equal to 0 to n minus 1, or j is equal to 1 to n. So what will happen? This nested for loop will execute n square number of time. If my input size is n, then the number of steps executed will be n square. What are the examples? So first example is to perform the matrix operation, and the second example is to compare the element of the list 1 with all other element of the list 2. So let me give you explanation of this particular programming concept. So let me explain you example of this quadratic programming construct. So the task is to check whether the element of the list 1 is present in the second list or not, and we have to print the element which are common in both the list. Consider this is my list A and this is my list B. So what will happen in this case? I will take the outer for loop where the I value will change from 0 to m minus 1. What is m? M is total number of elements in the list A, and n is total number of elements in the list B. So initially I will check that element present at the 0th position of A, it means A of 0, whether it is present, whether firstly I will try to match this one with 2. Okay, then when I value is 0, my j value will change from 0 to n minus 1. Then when I value becomes 1, then my j value will again change from 0 to n minus 1. Similarly, when the next value of I is 2, again similarly j will change from is for whenever I'll change the value of I, whenever I'll increment the value of I, every time j will start from 0. It means whenever I'll go to the next element, I'll try to compare this element with all the elements of the B. It means the value should start from 0th position. Okay, so in this task what will happen? Firstly I'll try to check 1 with all the elements. It is not present, so I'll not print it. Next I'll check 2 with all the elements. It is present, so what we will do? We'll try to print the output as initially 2. Why? Because it is matching. Then I'll check whether 3 is present, so I'll try to compare 3 with all the elements. It is not matching. Then I'll try 6 with all the elements. So as soon as I'll get the match, I'll print it. So what will happen? The value 6 will be printed on the screen. Nextly 8 will be printed on the screen, and similarly I'll stop here. And what we'll get on the screen? Common elements are 2, 6, 8. So basically, as I already told you, whenever we are trying to find out the time complexity, we are considering how many times this loop will execute. So now you can see here, the outer for loop will execute how many times? M number of times. Why M number of times? Because the number of elements present are M. Okay, so values vary from 0 to M minus 1. It means number of how many times it will change? M number of times. And for every value, how many times is for inner for loop will execute? It will execute n number of times. So basically, in case of the nested for loop, so we are having the time complexity, the value of the outer and into the value of the inner for loop, or we can say the number of times the inner for loop will iterate. So m into n times. As I already told you, we are considering the worst scenario. So just consider the size of both the arrays are same. Let's say the input size and the output size is same. It means the value will be m into m. So value is equal to m square, or we can say reversely also. We just consider the size of A is n. Then we can consider n into n. So value will be n square. So this is about the quadratic time programming construct. We can see here earlier the number of steps executed was only n, but here number of steps executed will be the square of the input size. So that is all about the quadratic time programming constructs. Okay, similarly performing the matrix operation. So code will be exactly same. Only thing is that inside we are doing C of ij is equal to A of ij plus B of ij, but still we will require a 2 nested for loop. Okay, so what is the relation between the function means time requirement for finding out the required result. When we have input size as n, then the time requirement will be big O of n square. So the square of the input size. So that is all about the quadratic time programming constructs. Now next one is logarithmic. So what is the relation between the logarithmic? So number of step executed is proportional to the logarithmic value of the input size, and input size, if input size double, the number of step executed will be increasing by one more time. So let me explain you with the help of the example. So as indicated by first two statement, if my input size is n, the number of step executed will be the logarithmic value of the input size. It means log of input size, it means n, log n. It means what is the next statement is saying, if my input size doubles, then the number of step executed will increase by one more value. It means earlier it was log n, it will be now log n, it means the previous value plus 1. Okay, or we can say in another way, if it is 2n, this value will be log of 2n. Okay, so both the relations will be same. I'll explain you with the help of the example. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? If my input size is 16, then log of 16 is, what is log of 16 to the base 2? 2 raised to 4 is 16. It means the value of log 16 is 4. Okay, so the first relation is satisfied. What is next one? If my input size double, it means instead of 16, if I have 16 into 2, it means 32. Now, what will be the size? So log of 32 means 5, or we can say 4 plus 1 is 5. So that is the meaning of the second statement. It means if my input size double, the number of step executed will increase by value 1, or it will increase, or it will execute one more time. Right? Earlier it was 4, now it will be 5. If next value is double of 32, it means if next value is 64, then this value will be 6. It will increase one more time. As number of step executed, as the input size double, number of step executed will increase by value 1. Right? Now this is the one of the most efficient programming construct, or the time complexity. Now I can explain you with the help of the example. If I have this array A, and now what is the example of this quadratic time, this logarithmic programming construct? When we are having a task, to find out the element in the binary search, or we have to find out the element in the tree data structure. Now remember, as we have already discussed in the divide and conquer strategy, that in case of this binary search or in case of the tree data structure, depending on the comparison, we are either going to the left half or we are going to the